Over the last 8 years or so, we've seen numbers jump from probably 10 or 20,000 to now 70, 80,000 homeless people living in Los Angeles County. And so clearly whatever we're currently doing is not working. And now we're even being asked to pass another proposition to provide more money for the homelessness. And money is not the answer right now. The answer is more accountability. And what's really interesting is that I think a lot of people feel like the homeless are mostly just people down on their luck. Honestly, there's probably 30 to 50% of the people that need serious medication or are mentally ill, whether that just be for natural reasons or because they've actually taken enough drugs to where they can no longer think straight. And so there's a big number of people right now that need to be in hospitals. And one of the ideas that they've brought back is something called care court. So the idea of care court is the thought process is good. The idea is to basically give someone that has a mental illness the opportunity to have their case heard by a judge, and the judge will then decide if this individual is truly mentally ill and what type of treatments they should receive to help heal them. But unfortunately, that's probably not going to work, and the reason it's not going to work is because the patient, the person can figure, if I don't want to stay there, I can leave. So they can leave at any time. Unfortunately, if someone is not of right mind and are not thinking correctly and they have a mental illness, they're not going to be able to make the right decision for themselves. Until they get the right medication from doctors in a hospital, they're not going to be able to get out of that situation. And that's why I'm a big proponent of conservatorships, which basically are forcing mentally ill patients to be in hospitals getting the proper treatment and off the streets. Assemblymember Mike Gibson is a huge proponent of conservatorships. He knows and understands that the only way that people that have mental illnesses that cannot properly think straight until they get the proper balanced medication is to have them in a hospital, safely in a hospital, getting the treatment until they can make proper decisions on their own. Right now you've got a number of people that are being treated for mental illness on the streets, and you can see the result of that. It's not only a danger to themselves, but a danger to the rest of us. And so that's why I believe that care court is not going to be a solution that's going to work. And ultimately, we're going to need to go to full conservatorships to force people to be into those hospital situations. In regards to more people that are homeless, yeah, there's people that are down on their luck. What's great is that we don't have to just look in LA County for solutions. Right across our border in Orange County is the Orange County Rescue Mission. The Orange County Rescue Mission is 100% privately funded, no taxpayer dollars. And they basically take in anyone that feels like they need help, and people that don't necessarily have the mental illness, because the mental illness people and people that have drug addictions, they'll send to other places. But anyone that they feel like they need to relearn certain skills and get back on their feet, you have to commit to this program where you're there from 18 to 24 months. While you're there, they provide room and board. You do need to work every day doing something, whether it's just gardening work or a barber, or you do need to provide some type of work while you're there just to keep yourself busy. And that's program, like I said, was 100% privately funded, only costs like $15,000 per year per person. Imagine that. Like, we always talk about these housing units where you're just providing housing for $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 per unit. We're actually able to house and to feed people and get them back on their feet after an 18 to 24 month stay. This is a 98% success rate there at the Orange County Rescue Mission. This is the sort of thing that we could be doing in Los Angeles County right now to help those people that are definitely need to get back on their feet and can be retrained. So, and then finally, this housing first idea that California has adopted just does not work. The problem with housing first is that you have to provide housing to someone and not hold them accountable for anything else. So in other words, you could be an alcoholic or a drug addict or junkie and be given housing, and you could basically come and go and do those drugs as you please. And then you hear our politicians say things like, well, I've taken this number of people off the street. Well, okay, yeah, you've taken someone that's a drug addict on the street, and now they're a drug addict in a housing unit that the taxpayer is paying for. But really, what is that doing for anyone? They're basically killing themselves with these drugs, and we're not holding them accountable. what we need to be doing is requiring people that are getting housing to actually go to a 12-step type program to be able to get healed and treated properly. These drugs that people are taking now, fentanyl and others, are so much cheaper and more powerful than ever before, and it's creating a huge problem for so many people, and then the businesses as well, and people that have residential right near where these homeless people live. How many times have we now driven on the freeways and seen now that there's lined with tents, or you're downtown Los Angeles and you're getting off the 101 freeway and the off-ramp is lined with tents and different large structures that these homeless people have put up. Unfortunately, you get what you allow, and our governments have been allowing these structures and these homeless people to stay on the streets, and we can't allow that. If you look at cities like Beverly Hills, or even my city of Rancho, Palos, Verdes, in those cities, we don't allow homeless people to be sleeping there overnight. And so you always get what you allow, and in these cities where you're allowing homeless people to stay on the streets, you're just getting a constant array of people and more people, because people from all over the country see that there's free blankets and tents and food and cheap drugs out there on the streets. And so unfortunately, we're also a magnet to other people all across the country, where numbers of homeless people are shrinking. Here in Los Angeles County, they're actually growing.